So our first page of our album looks like this. We've used a die cut up here. Whoops. We've used a die cut up here. We've cut a hole in our pocket, so we know we have to have a certain page. We've die cut here, here, and here. And we've die cut here and here. So this one has a lot of die cuts. It's probably a rather difficult page. Let me, oops, that's coming forward. Let me come out a little bit. And we've die cut here, and we've die cut the paper, and then we die cut this strip we put on here. The reason I put this strip on was because I forgot to place the magnet under here. So if you don't want to do this extra strip of die cutting, then I make sure you put your magnet under this piece of paper before you apply it. Otherwise you'll need some sort of cover up for your magnet there. Well, hi Luigi. So this is where we begin. We're actually going to begin with this pocket on our first page. And that will helpfully keep us in order. What's up, Luigi? Come on. Well, you want to say hi? Come say hi. Okay, look up here. Say, hello, camera. Oh, there we go. Okay. Go to your tower. Scoot on up there. Oh, you like it right here where the string is on the album. Oh, no. He loves all the strings. Oh, look at all that cat hair. Oh. He's my craft room buddy. I told you you'd probably meet him. Now I've got all the little fodder from the dyeing. Onto the floor it goes. That's what the vacuum's for, huh? Okay. Oh, he's knocking things down. Let me grab something he knocked down on the floor. Oh. Okay. Then we tuck the mic battery section into my pocket so it's out of the way. Okay, so we have our envelope, or well, not envelope, but our page with where our big tag will go and where it will hook to the hinge. So we need, out of our paper cuts, when we cut this, we had this extra piece. So pull that one out, and we are going to make a 1/2 inch hinge right here. So score this 1/2 inch on one side. So my scoreboard is kind of over here for right now, so I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. There we go. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to fold it. Give that a little bone fold down. Give that a nice crease. Then we're going to measure this to our base page. Now, you'll see here that there is, well, I don't know if you can see it black on black. It's awful hard. We're going to leave this over just tiny bit. I don't know if you can see that. Just a tiny bit that way. Tiny. And then that's so it doesn't get in the way of your hinge system. Take a newly sharpened pencil. Yes, I like to start out with sharp pencils. So make sure this is lined up nicely over here. And then make a mark very close to the edge of the opening side of your page, we're going to score that line. That might be a little too big. I may have to rescore that one. So now we have this. Let's make sure it fits before we cut it. It fits quite nicely, actually. It'll sit on this edge and leave me a nice little area over there. It'll sit just inside of this. Do not cut the base yet. So you can cut this little piece off here. You need a 1/2 inch. I find the quickest way to do it is to give myself a quick little score line instead of taking it over to my rotary cutter, and just slice right down that little score line, or right to the, just to the left of it, not to the right of it. So there you go. And that creates the beginning of our pocket. Now on this, we're using these dies. And I've actually chosen this one at the top here. If you have these same dies, it's just a solid line. And that is going to give us this baseline on our pocket. Right up here. Okay? So I'm going to take that over to my cutting machine and we'll cut it over there. I have a Big Shot. Now I have already taped one of these down on my pocket. That's the one we just did. But I did one previously so I could get this on here and show it to you. So we've taped this die on our pocket. We have, this is our score line right here. Whoops. And our pocket line too. Oh, no. Okay. Our score line is right there on this side. And right there on that side. So I have centered this die on my pocket, and I have brought the corner up here and here right to the top of the pocket. That's going to give you a nice area to put through your Big Shot. Carefully peel off your, now save this, we're going to need it. I'll set it up there. So here we are, we have our pocket cut now. But now we have to finish cutting it. So, oh, here's the one. You're going to cut it straight across here from where this line, open line comes up. You're going to cut it straight across right here. And give it a little score there if you want with the blade, or you can cut it with a blade if that works better for you. And we're going to do the same over here. Once again, you just line it right up with that mark. And create a little score if you want to keep it straight. Make sure I'm in the camera. And there we have it. The base of our pocket. So now you can see that these are sticking out at the top of our pocket. We don't want that. So carefully trim this corner off. It doesn't have to be too deep. And you're going to score to the right side of your pocket line. Don't cut your pocket line at all. And then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Okay, that works good. Okay, so what is next? We know this one's going to go here. So now we need our, we know we're going to cut this one for our top pocket, so we have to kind of save that piece. So let's see which pieces of paper I used for this album. I used, well, it looks like we used this one back here and up here. And this looks like it might be a different paper. So let's take this one and pull it out. And on the back, you can see that we have continued to use it down here, but we've flipped it over and used the cracked, like a crackle paste side. So now we have this one and this one. And I believe that is on the same paper, front and back as well. What should be, yes, the next one that way. So let's pull that one out. Oh boy. It is really glued in there. You might have to peel that glue off. Or if you like the shabby look of it, you can leave it and just ink it. But that one's pretty deep. It was a lot of glue right there, so I'm going to cut it off. And there we go. Let's take our paper pad and put it away. Put it back in our box of goodies. I wanted to tell you to save these. You might need them at some point. I used them on the top of the photo mats in here. The lace ones. Okay, so continuing with our pocket, we used the back of this. And let's see, we can go ahead and see how deep our pocket needs to be. This one here is centimeters. Let's go inches. 3.5 inches. So let's measure down here 3.5 inches. Let's move that base pocket. 3.5 inches. Now don't cut that yet. We're going to score this one. We're going to give this pocket a little bit of space so we can put a couple of photo mats in it. So let's score on this 3.5. I'm just going to kind of sketch my line over to the side there so I can see it on my scoreboard. And let's see. Oh, don't score that way, Angela. And let's see. Here we go. 3.5 right here, and it did measure right down to that 3.5, so we're doing good. Go ahead and give yourself a real light score line there at the 4. That gives you an idea of where to just cut it off at without having to take it over to your rotary cutter. I'm afraid that today my desk is a mess. I've just been playing with stuff this weekend, off and on. Better save that. Throw it in your box over there that you should have going for your bits and pieces. Trim this pocket just slightly, but not through your side pocket score line. There we go. We want it to be a nice fold over pocket. Same way here. Don't need much of a score. Just a little. Or, sorry, not a score, a cut. Oh dear. Okay, now we need to fold this one over. And let's put it down nicely. And you can see I left a little bit of a hinge right there, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. It was not my intention to leave that one. Oh goodness, it's still there. I must have left the little tiny centerpiece there. I did. It's really not a lot to worry about. There we go. But I like to try and keep it nice and neat for you guys. Okay, our base right here. So let's go ahead and glue our pocket down. Glue, glue, glue. Oh, I didn't fill my glues today. I'm so sorry. But I do have 2 of them. Oh. They always have kind of a hard time working to begin with. I'm going to start on the inside of here, on this flap. And already my glue is being cantankerous. Stick your pin back in if yours is too. That means there's a clump in there. You can see because the glue gets a little watery when it first comes out. So that may have a hard time becoming real glue yet. Right there. Because it really needs to be all shook up. Fold one side of your pocket down. It attaches nicely there. Or it will once we get it all scored down. Or, boy, I have score on the mind, don't I? After we get it pressed down into our paper. Flip it over. Or not flip, but move over to the other side. If you get any on the inside of the pocket, remove it. The glue, not the pocket. Sometimes I like to just kind of flatten that glue out a little bit. Okay, here we go. Remember, we're going to be over to the right, just a little bit of the spine. Going to bring it down to the bottom. Whoops. Nice thing about glue is it allows you to kind of maneuver it around for just a little bit. Hopefully it's all down in the right spot. Yes. Make sure there's no glue on your bone folder if you choose to do this. I'm just checking the inside to be sure that there's not glue stuck under there. And because I lifted this up so I could move it a little bit, it is going to need reinforcement right here. Go ahead and put a little glue under your corners if you need to. And wipe off the excess. Now, where we have glue spots showing up here and there, they aren't going to show because we are going to put paper over them. Okay, we now have our base pocket. Now, this is the time that you put your magnet on if you're not going to put this piece on. But because I put it on in this one, I'm going to put down my next piece of paper after I die cut it. And I'm going to put my magnet on top so it will be under this paper. Now, the one thing you want to be sure is when you put this page down, the magnet sticks here. However, you're going to have a die cut here. So if you're going to put your magnet down now, think about where your die is going to come so that your magnet doesn't show through the die. So I placed my die quite a ways down. So it's down, let's see, about 3/4 of an inch. I centered it about 3/4 of an inch down on the pocket so that I would leave room for the die cut on the inside of the pocket. So now we use this fabric. Oh my goodness, Angela. What one did I use? I think I used this side. It's not going to really matter where you choose to start on your paper. So we know that this one is going to have to be at least 3.5 inch width. Let's have a look. Your measurements will probably be a little different. We know that pocket was 3.5 inches. So the way I'm going to measure this is I'm going to have it just a little bit to the right of the top of the pocket, about 1/16 of an inch. And I'm going to try and leave 1/16 of an inch all the way around my pocket. So I'm going to bring it over here, my little 1/16 there, and my little 1/16 there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece out. Let's cut it this way. Hopefully we cut it the right direction. Oh dear. Where's my line? Oh, there it is. I found it. Put a pencil mark on there and then it's hard to see them. And, oh, there it is. Okay, found them both. Especially on this where it has the crackle look. Oh, right there. Put it under the cutting slide and then I couldn't see it anymore. Okay, I hope it fits. And it does. Now don't glue it down yet. We have to do the same thing that we did before. Get this centered. Now I really want it to match up with this pocket here. That's kind of critical. So I'm going to line my pocket up good with my 1/8 of an inch showing there on the edge. And I'm going to place it on here so that this edge matches up with, there's a little line right there that you'll see that got pressed into your paper. I'm going to line those up. Going to do the same thing over here. What are you doing, Luigi? You give that string back. He's playing with the string. The ribbons. Kitties and ribbons, they're so cute. And now I'm going to put this in my machine and give it a little cut. Okay, here we go. Roll, roll, roll. And I can see that it cut nicely. I gotta make sure I'm not rolling over my cord too much. Okay, we should now have this cut. So let's carefully peel this off. Our tape is still acting nice, so let's peel it off slowly. We might be able to reuse that. And then once again, you're going to cut straight across to that line so that this piece falls off. Now this piece I do want you to save. Save, save, save. This comes over here and is the top of this pocket here. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, but you could actually save it and use it on that one. It's going to be the one we cut for the front of the cover with the holes in it. But this would have been good if I would have placed that on there, wouldn't it? That would have looked nice. Okay. Save, save, save. And save it all until the very end. Okay, let's see if it fits. Crossing our fingers. Oh, nice. And look at that. We have our space around the edges. And then we have a nice pocket edge here. And that looks good because there's a little crease in it here at the base. And that just creates a nice place to place the pocket. Look at that. It does come up a little bit more here than we probably like, but I like it. I think it looks good. You can choose if you want the crackle side or this side. You decide. This side looks really nice, doesn't it? But I'm trying to keep it like that one. Very similar. Don't glue that side. This side, Ange. Okay, so carefully around those edges. You don't want it too thick there, otherwise it spills over. So, what YouTube videos have you watched this morning? I watched, oh gosh, I can't remember her name now. Anyway, first name's Carol. I watched her making an envelope album. It was really beautiful. She does her own digitals. And she sells kits, apparently. Anyway, she did a beautiful job. The digitals is what I really want to get into. I have always been interested in digital pictures and digital designs, and so that's really something I want to get into. And look at that, fit beautifully, didn't it? If you have extra glue, wipe it off. Okay, look at that. Isn't that nice? Mwah! Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now we need to make our flap. We know this one does not work. That was our extra piece. We know this one won't work. I think we have to cut a new piece of paper because of the size of our page is 6.5. So let me find a piece of paper that's over here in my basket. I hope my new paper arrives today, otherwise I'll be stalled for a few days until it does. Okay. Now we want this paper to match up with this black on the envelope here, or whatever base color you're using. Actually, we want it to match up with this one. I'm sorry. So just slightly away from that edge, not much, just slight. Come over here and make your line. Is my head in there? I'm trying to stay out of it. Trying to stay out of the film with my head. Make your line. Give your paper a slice. What you need to do, we need to think about this pocket first, about the die cuts on it. Okay, so our die cut here on our black paper, we are using one with holes in it. Now I could cut these two at the same time, the pattern paper and the black paper, but I'll be honest, with this die, it doesn't cut good through the thickness of this paper and this paper. So let's set this up here right above our, let me put a piece of white paper under there for you, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. You'll be able to see on this one side. Remove the album. Okay, I'm going to line this up here with the top of my pocket and side to side. Again, I want this to be even, and we are using this one with the little round pieces in it. See it? Okay. Again, we're going to go with our scallops facing down this way. So we want to try and line this all up here, side to side, edge to edge. Let's see, and I believe, what did I do? That's 1 inch. I think I went down 3/4 of an inch and drew a line. So let's do that first. Let me use this one so you can see it better. Well, maybe you can. Oh, I have sunlight coming in. 3/4 of an inch and make a line. come over here and make another 3/4 of an inch. And make another line. Go ahead and lightly draw that across. This is going to give you some marks on your paper so that you can line things up good. Oh, I'm off. There we go. Okay. Now, let's see if that works. Okay, so when you put a 3/4 of an inch there, it is halfway between your die where your line is going to cut. And that's going to line this piece up right on this edge, which is what you want. Okay, so we draw a little line on your metal piece at the center. And find some washi tape that will work. Not that one. No, definitely not that one. Oh, let's see. Okay. I know I put it here somewhere, but I just don't know where right at the moment. And also make sure you still have this space here on both sides. And you want that to be pretty even because you want it to be nice on your pocket there. Okay, now because our page is not cut yet, we're going to put it through the machine the opposite way this time, through the Big Shot. I may have to roll it through a couple of times to get it to cut, going straight through the machine this way. But usually if you roll it through, it's better to go this way with the rollers. What happens when you run it straight through the machine like that is all the little pieces don't seem to touch the roller. So what I had a problem with was my dots. Just right here on these two sides was not opening up. They were staying solid. Okay, now you've already drawn a midway mark there. Go ahead and slice on it on both sides. And there you have the beginning of your fold. Now, my fold on this album, it came down to 1 3/8 of an inch on my pocket. Oh, looks like some things fell out of it. So I'm going to measure up here 1 3/8. And I'm going to make a nice little line right there just so I can see it to line up my edges here. And it's going to come right about here. There we go. So line that up on that line. Come up here. It does not have to be perfect. Not at all. Make your line. This is going to be your scoring line. Whoops. Right here. Make sure the long edge is nice and straight along there. And like I said, I like to make that other next 1/2 inch real light. Gives me a nice little cutting line. Going to cut just to the left side of that line so you don't have any bumps left. There we go. Going to make sure I have this on the correct side. This is the nice side. So I'm going to flip this over and press down my score line. And then now I'm not going to save this piece. I'm going to throw that one away and get it out of my way. So, oh, perfect. Look at that. Look, lots of space. It's perfect. And we are still recording, thank goodness. I'm not going to trim these corners. I want this page to be good and sturdy. And it will be covered up by the paper we put on top of it. On top of this flap. Line your flap up with the top. The whole top. And the sides. Okay, use your bone folder to press it down in. It's okay if it gets a little shiny. And perfect. Now I did have mine so that it's over this way just a little bit, so make sure it lines up here. Okay, so there we are. Nice pocket. Now, let's see. I'm going to have to take a little break, so I will be right back. Bye-bye. I'll be back. Hang on.